Welcome to Back Porch Confessions, where the sweet tea is strong, the stories are stronger, and no topic is too taboo for the porch. Grab a seat, kick off your shoes, and let's get into the kind of conversations your mama warned you about, but you listen anyway. Hey everybody, welcome to Back Porch Confessions. I have Angel Joyner here with me again. I have some surprise questions for her today.
Yeah, no briefing this time.
She does not have any kind of hint in any way of what I'm about to ask her, so this is going to be fun. I've decided to title these, it's going to be a two-parter, and I've decided to title it Small-Town Big Sass. This is my Small-Town Big Sass.
That's a nice way to put it.
Well, this is part one, and thank you guys for joining us again. Thank you for wanting to be here with me and always being such a big supporter and
Absolutely.
and you know, making time to actually be here. And because it just, doing a podcast is hard, and I've learned a whole lot. But I'm very dedicated to this whole thing, and I'm going to make it happen one way or another.
And I do feel like it's going to be a good thing. Even if it's only a good thing for one person, it's worth that.
Yes, I agree. Well,
But I got a feeling we're going to hit a much wider audience.
Oh yeah, I do think so too. There's just so many topics that, you know, at our age that we've lived through, and that we can speak on in different traumas, obviously, that, you know, we've both gone through in different ways, but yet still similar.
But not just traumas. I mean, great things.
Joys, hilarious.
You need to be supported, but you also need to be celebrated.
Yes.
And a lot of times, as mothers and spouses and daughters, aunts, and so forth, we don't celebrate ourselves, and we don't get celebrated because we're so busy being behind the camera and behind the details, doing for others.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So, I get sad sometimes when I look back at events that nobody took a picture of me, and I wasn't in any of the pictures, and I think that sorry, something popped up on the screen, so I wanted to make sure we were still good and rolling.
It says start recording. Is it recording?
I think it's still going. Yes, it is. Sorry. Hey, close up. It says it's still going, so we're good to go, I hope. Anyway, so let's just rip off the Band-Aid. What is the hardest part about divorcing in a small town where everybody has an opinion, even the post office clerk?
Everybody, sorry, I have hot tea, knowing what is going on when they don't know shit.
Yeah.
Having an opinion about it, and people who were constantly a part of your everyday life, and all of a sudden, over issues that have nothing to do with them, they walk out. There's no phone calls, there's no stopping by, there's no messages, you know, do you need something? Are you okay? Do the kids need something? People that you went above and beyond and out of your way to be there for their catastrophes in life, they just disappear.
Yes, that was one of the things that I struggled with. This was your first marriage, first divorce. I, you know, had already been married a couple times. Well, one time.
I'm a one and done.
And then my second marriage, you know, after going through what I went through with the first marriage, of knowing the loss of the friends and the family and the people that were a big part of your life during that process. So that was one of the hardest decisions, come deciding whether or not to stay in the second marriage, knowing that huge loss was going to be there again, you know, and again, being alone, because I'm in places that I don't have family. There's no family here for me other than my children. So the small group of
which
people,
you have to be strong for.
I have to be strong for, yeah. So for me, it was a very big pill to swallow, in knowing that I was going to be completely alone again. The first time I did not weather well with that. I spiraled and I did some crazy, crazy things.
And that's why there won't
yeah.
be a second time for me, because I know that I don't have it in me to survive that again. With everything that I've been through in life, I will tell you, I think it was God's building stones to give me the strength to make it through my divorce. Because had I lived the fairy tale childhood and so forth, I would not have survived that time in my life. I'm convinced of it. Not only are you dealing with the loss of your marriage, your spouse, your best friend for 20 plus years, your support system, your friends, your in-laws, your whole way of life, everything changes, and you still got to get up and get dressed and show up because you've got kids looking at you.
You do have kids, and then you also have everybody around you that once was your friend judging you. Every breath you take, every choice you make, they're watching you.
And if you were to open your mouth and spill the beans on their life, the secrets that you kept for them, then they would be too busy to be talking about your life. But no, let me go ahead and tell you, the high road gives you high blood pressure. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Get in the gutter with them.
Well, when you run into him or one of his second cousins removed twice at like Food Line or somewhere, do you act like a lady or do you dodge and hide from them?
I never hide from anyone. I don't run into him, and if I did, I would smile and have pleasant conversation. There have been times, family events, that we've crossed paths, and it's been pleasant. Now, as far as some extended family, most of the family has been very receiving to me, very loving. Hasn't changed, my mother-in-law, as you know, I call her my mother of heart. We're still very close. My father-in-law never changed up on me a bit. He would bring fresh vegetables and stuff and leave them on my porch. Still would great. Today.
That's great.
But there was some extended cousins that we were sitting side by side, and I saw them pointing, I saw them talking, but never extended a hello to me. But me being me, I walked up to them, and they were pleasant.
Yeah, but they weren't going to come to you.
No, and the really sad part was he lived with us twice.
Really?
Yeah.
So he knew you on a different type of level.
Yeah. I mean, we would vacation together and all of that, so it hurt because I don't have a relationship with my family, and I did consider his family my family. So it did hurt, but I'm the type that can sit right beside Satan himself and go, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
A little hot in here, ain't it?
Yes, absolutely. I do that with just in general people, agents, real estate, because we're agents, and you'll figure this out as you get to going through this a little bit longer. You know that these people have talked about you, and you know that stuff has been said, but sometimes you end up having to work with these people because your buyers want that house, or their buyer wants the house you have listed, and sometimes you just have to swallow your pride and move forward if you end up in a situation where you have to absolutely work with them.
If you give me an opportunity to pull back and chew the life out of it, get all the taste out of it, I'm not going to hold grudges.
Yeah.
I can let it go, but I will not forget. But I am the person who can have a very genuine conversation with you, knowing that you're sitting there smiling at me and can't stand that I'm taking my next breath.
Yeah, knowing what you've had to say about me, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's worse, the silence after a divorce, or the choir of the church ladies trying to set you up with their nephew who still lives with his mama?
Never really had the church choir.
Any family, friends trying to set you up with Larry Mower Curly?
No, and I
No?
think that was because of who I was married to.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very well known, and everyone expected it to be a big spectacle, but I just didn't have the energy to fight it. I am a fighter, I am feisty, but I just didn't have it in me to survive and to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose to survive.
Correct.
And it just kind of took a life of its own and dwindled out.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. I know that, you know, he has some family here, but not enough for it to really be a problem for me with my second marriage. I tried to keep the relationship. It took us a few years to be amicable. For me, it meant a lot to be able to do that because I wanted my children to be able to have a relationship with both parents.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't happen so well with my first divorce, and I didn't want that situation to happen again. You know, sometimes I have my like, maybe I should have done it differently, but they still had their dad, and regardless of how I may feel about some of the things that happened, they still have their dad. And I'm no angel. I make mistakes. I've done things. So I you know, the judgment hat may come out just a little bit, and then I put it away because then I start thinking about, you know, well, you're not perfect either, and God didn't put you here to judge anybody, and you've made mistakes, just maybe not his type of mistakes. And so, you know, that's been, I even introduced him to his current wife, and his current wife and I are friends.
Mm-hmm.
And my first husband, his wife and I are friends, and that just means a lot to me to be able to be amicable with everybody, because having the bonus mom or bonus parent and they be good to my kids,
It's priceless.
means more to me than any kind of feelings I may have about the ex.
Right.
So that gets put to the side, and, you know, some people can't do that. And that, you know, I'm not trying to preach like I'm a perfect person and, you know, I've got this big halo because I can do that. No, it's just who I am. You know, it's just my personality. I'm just, you know, loving, caring, and nurturing. And I mean, I can be spicy. You've seen that.
Yeah, I have this week.
Yeah, I've been spicy a few times this week. But yeah, it's important to me, and I know that you do your best with your children and the relationships that you've had with.
Not having the mother-father relationship for myself, regardless of what issues my ex-husband and I have, they need both of us.
Yes.
And they need a relationship with both parents. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. But we've done a good job.
Mm-hmm. I think you have. You've beautiful children. They've doing well, done well, and are doing well
Yes.
in life.
Thank you, God.
Yes, he has a whole lot behind that, don't he? So dating in your 50s.
It gets X-rated right here, guys.
Is it more rom-com magic, or someone please explain what a situationship is before I end up in one?
It's a circus. It's elementary school behavior and a high school environment with a little bit of maturity.
Just a sprinkle?
Just a sprinkle. Yeah.
These men were just raised different.
I refuse to believe that, because I've dated older, I've dated 9 years younger, I've dated my age, and I haven't dated a whole lot. But I don't want to run to the altar. That's completely off the board, and that's the first 15-minute conversation with me.
Right.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be told I love you.
Not too fast.
Those words don't mean a whole lot to me unless they come from my kids. If a man has feelings for me, show me.
Their actions, the effort that they put into you in the relationship, getting to know you, doing the little things that make you happy, because women really aren't that complicated.
Not at all.
We just want to know that we are the sun, moon, and the stars to you, and that you want to put the time and the effort into loving us. And loving us comes with knowing who we are and what we want out of life and what we want out of them. What is it that fills my love bucket? It's not going to be the same thing that fills your love bucket.
Right.
So if we dated the same man at one point and then you dated him later on, or vice versa, he would have to learn each of us differently, because we're just different.
Yeah, your type and my type is polar opposites. So we've done figured that one out.
Yeah.
But I want the man who looks at me and says, "You're enough." Not even says it, just treats me like I'm enough. Not like I'm a ball of clay.
Right.
And he wants to chisel a little bit here off here and chisel a little bit more off there, and bring you down here, and then of course when he gets you what he declares is perfect, spin you around and show you off. I don't want that kind of man, and I'm not going to tolerate that kind of man. In fact, I think after the phone conversation I had last night with the guy who tells me he loves me within the first 2 weeks, and I tell him, I want you to go and have a great life, but just slow down and enjoy the moments in life. He's a great man, wonderful man, but too much too soon. And he was the first gentleman that I've dated in over 2 years, right at 2.5 years. And when you're single in your 50s and you haven't dated much, you try to date, you self-dissect, which I do that anyway. I've already discussed that. And you wonder, is it me? Is it me that, am I looking for reasons to not let this work out? Or is it he's going too fast? And I was talking with someone and they said, well, just because you don't believe in love at first sight doesn't mean that he doesn't.
Correct.
And I'm like, there is no way someone can fall in love with you. They don't know you. And so, was I looking for a reason to end it, or was he moving too fast? We may never know, but we do know that our way of communicating is polar opposite, and so therefore it was just not going to work.
Yeah.
No.
And it's good that you can end it early and not drag this out, and then your hearts get even more hurt.
He was very offended by what I said.
Well, that's because he's like most men this age. If their egos are easily hurt, they have childlike minds, that they are not receptive to constructive criticism or advice.
Or maybe they've been damaged.
Sometimes.
We have taken the Marlboro Man and we have said, you're too masculine, you're too demeaning, you're too rough, you're too this, you're too that. So I don't even think that the man knows how to be a man anymore. And then, unfortunately, a lot of our men have been raised by women without a man in the house. Yes, you can do it, but I think that has taken a lot of the masculinity out.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for the Marlboro Man. I need a little asshole in my man.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just what I got used to. I don't know, but I don't think that type of man and that mentality exists anymore.
Yeah. Very few far in between. I would say my husband runs right along the lines of the Marlboro Man.
Does he have a brother?
He does.
Actually, I'm not interested. I need to just work on me for a little while.
He's in his early 40s. And then the other one's married. What do you think is a myth about being single in your 50s? That we're out here knitting shawls with our cat sitting next to us, or we're out finding peace of mind somewhere with our passport?
No, I think that there's a lot of myths with. Now, are we talking just single women or single men?
I would say you would start with women.
Okay.
More geared toward women, I guess.
I think that the biggest myth is, and a lot of women don't help this, is that we're independent women and we don't need no man.
Well,
let me tell you something. When I gotta jump my truck off, I need a man. If I need to change a tire, I need a man. Even at night, you know, when it's cold and your feet are chilled and you can't quite get them warm, I need a man. So no, that's just because you meet a strong woman, an independent woman, a woman who pays her own bills, that does not mean that she has the mentality, I don't need a man.
Right.
You know, hold the door open for me. I genuinely appreciate it, and I try to express that. That one there is probably my biggest pet peeve, is that people think that most single women, or especially women who have been single for some time, from the mentality that we don't need a man.
There's something wrong with us. We don't need a man.
That's where I was going with the man and the woman, is that there has to be something wrong with us. Why are they single at this age? You know, women have to be crazy and men have to be violent. That's not the case. We're just tired of the bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I was single for almost 8.5 years when I met Tommy, and you know, hurry up, Mr. Motorcycle.
I love that sound. Slow down, Mr. Motorcycle.
So when I met Tommy, letting go of that independence and having to rely on him was a struggle. Like I genuinely struggled with that, and not knowing my place then in a relationship, because it had been so long since I had really been in one. I dated a few people, one guy for about 6 months in that 8 years, and I was very much of the mindset there wasn't anything wrong with me. I just had a very high bar and a very low bar for BS. And I just didn't take me long to tell you to kick rocks.
Right.
Because I had no interest in playing games. My focus was my kids and trying to make ends meet. I was too busy working 2 jobs and going to ball games, and I hated going to ball games by myself. I'm like, man, I miss having somebody with me. I wanted somebody to be there with me to share in those moments. But Barbara, the ever spinster, always going to the bars with her friends and meeting them there, and never with anybody, and always being the DD for everybody and that kind of thing, so
They never done that.
everybody just always expected me to just be alone. I think that's who she is.
She's coming alone, she's going home alone.
Yeah, don't even try. Yeah, no. And I literally, if somebody would buy me a drink, I'd literally send it back to them. No thank you, tell them no thank you.
Barbara,
I know.
You're part of the problem I'm having right now.
I was an genuine, you know what?
I can hold a 20 up at the bar, and I can't even get the bartender's attention. So, but something that you said a minute ago that triggered me is that you didn't know how to do the dating thing. You didn't know where you stood in a relationship.
Yeah.
I dated this gentleman. We're still good friends, and invited him to the house, and I had such an attitude. I couldn't stand myself, so I took a Klonopin and I was like, slow your roll, little girl.
I've been there.
So then the next time he comes to the house, I'm fixing dinner so he can meet my kids and so forth, and again I have this major attitude, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? And again, I took a Klonopin, and he said, have I done something? And I told him, I said, no, you haven't done anything. I said, can I be completely honest with you? He said, yeah, absolutely. And I said, the fact that you are here in my house pisses me the hell off. And he looked at me, he said, I can leave. I was like, no.
You're just marking your territory.
I don't want you to leave. I really don't want you to leave. I was like, but I have started over so many times, And I don't have it in me to do it again. And the fact that you're here and I'm making myself vulnerable enough for you to be here in my environment, it pisses me off.
Yeah, those emotions.
I feel threatened.
Yes.
You know, I was like, but I want you here. I want you to be a part of my life, and I want to get past this.
Mm-hmm.
And I did eventually with him. But then when I started seeing this other guy, it was all over again. I was pissed. Why are you here?
Yes.
Yes, I invited you,
Too much time. Too much time. Too fast.
You need to go now.
Yeah. Well, you know, so many men these days, and women probably do it too. I don't know. I haven't really heard that much, but I know men love bomb way too fast.
That's what this last guy did.
And it's unfortunate.
I didn't even know what that was. I heard the terminology, but the actual experience in it, I had not in 9 years until this past relationship. And I'm by no means bashing him. He is a great guy, very handsome man. We're just on two different paths in life.
Right. It just wasn't what you need in your life. It doesn't mean that a year, 6 months, 2 years from now you won't happen to meet up again and it'll work. No. Never say never, sweetheart.
He's too eccentric for me.
Yeah, he is polar opposite of what I would normally picture you to be with.
I need you to draw out what you picture me to be with.
Yeah.
Maybe you can help me find my forever.
Yeah. I don't know. I can matchmake, but not always the best. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. Not that I try to be. I don't. That's not a hat I want to wear.
You and I were talking the other day, and we were talking about that guy that I went on a date with years ago. And he said, "So you don't lie?" And I said, "No, I have no reason to lie." And he said, and if I've told this before, forgive me, but I just find it hilarious. He said, "So if I ask you something, you're going to be honest?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely.
Why not?"
He said, "Are you going to give me another chance?" And I looked at him, I said, No. It wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know.
But we still ended the day on good terms and had a good time, you know.
Well, you know, the fact that he was able to receive that well says a lot about him.
Absolutely.
It still doesn't mean that you all are going to be a fit, but it just says a lot about him, because most men would have pouted up and left.
When you get in a relationship, you're saying to yourself and to that person, I want to spend not only the rest of my life with you. That's big. But I want to wake up with you. I want to eat with you. I want to go to bed with you. I want to clean up after you. I want to tolerate the things about you that I don't like.
Everything.
And so there's a lot of components there that have to come together. And honestly, I think I've been alone for too long to find that person.
I think you will, but just be prepared to be unsettled for a little while when it first happens, because it was for me. It was rough. I had a hard time for the first couple years of our relationship, just trying to figure out who I was just at that point.
But see, I've got that figured out. I've got that.
It changes though when you get in a relationship.
Right. And I don't want to change anymore. That's my problem, is that I finally like me. And I like my environment. I like my space and my freedom. I have no one to take care of for the first time in my life. And
other than your yaya duties.
Girl, that's all volunteer, and I absolutely, that child just lights my little world up, let me tell you. But she's got great parents, so that's all voluntary right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, as it should be. I wish mine lived closer. One day. One day I'll have some here, hopefully. Did you ever want to hold a press conference just to say, yes, I'm divorced, no, I'm not broken, and yes, I still look good?
Never thought about a press conference, but I wanted to go up to the local bar and scream it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's just this stigma that comes with a woman in their 40s or 50s being divorced. Oh, yeah. Oh, did you know? Did you hear about this? She's this, she's that,
There was this...
She's the hell on wheels. You don't want to go around her.
She's psycho. But no, there was this bar that I would go to, and I would make a point to go once or twice a month. I'd walk in, the bouncer would always let me in. I'd have one beer, and I'd leave. And finally, he asked me, he was like, what are you doing? You know, you come, you have one beer, you don't, you know, socialize with anyone else, and you leave. I said, I'm controlling the chaos. He said, what do you mean by that? I was like, if I don't give them a little something to talk about. Angel was at the bar the other night. Yeah. You know, then they create things. Mm-hmm. And so I did that up until about 2 years ago.
Wow.
So for 7 years, I made it a point to do that. And now people are just like, oh, she's doing her thing. Don't even ask her out. She's not going.
Yeah, I had that stigma.
But that's another. Yeah, that's another thing I want to touch on is when you divorce somebody in a small town, especially someone that's well known. Mm-hmm. You have one group of people who want to ask you out simply because you used to be his and they want to piss him off.
Right.
Or you have another group that want to date you who are friends of his. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to get out of this mess. I'm not trying to jump back in with new ingredients.
Yeah, I don't think that's the frying pan I'd want to be in.
So I never dated anybody that I knew before him, during him, or someone who had an affiliation with him. I just, out of respect for him and my kids, and out of just not wanting to stir the pot, I just wouldn't.
No, I don't think I would have either. Not in a
and I
small
turned
town.
down some good men.
You think?
At this point, I'm thinking,
maybe I should.
Maybe I should have. So, but
well,
no regrets.
I think that that type of situation that comes up, I see women do that too, though. They'll want to all of a sudden start dating the ex's friends,
The
or
catty and the petty.
Yeah.
And the drama.
And then they just tear people's lives apart. That's all that does.
Yeah, and confuse the kids and everything.
Kids, yes, absolutely.
And when I say I'm zero drama, I am zero drama until my back is against the wall, and then you can call it what you want.
Yeah. Do you ever get tired of people asking, have you found someone yet? Like you misplaced your man next to the mayo at Walmart.
Like, I'm not okay by myself. You know, you poor pitiful thing. Are you okay? What do you mean? You know, I'm perfectly fine. You know, you know what? You have to go home and cook supper tonight. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I can open up ice cream. I can fix sandwich. I can go to bed hungry.
Yeah. You don't have any of that drama in your life at that point.
I'm not broken. I'm not missing anything. I'm not someone to be pitied. You know?
Why do you think everybody thinks that we're broken when we get a divorce? Like, why?
Because it damn near breaks us.
What? Yeah, it does. But we're broken in a way that doesn't mean that. How do I say this? Like, people look at you like you're broken, and they do it out of like pity.
Pity.
I'm not broken, that kind of broken. I don't need pity.
You will respect the analogy I'm getting ready to give, but in the Asian community, when something breaks, like a vase or so forth, they put it back together with gold. Mm-hmm. And the cracks are an enhancement. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I see myself. Yeah. You know, I've got some major cracks, but they've been put back together with some gold, and I sparkle now.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Absolutely. I love it. I do like that analogy, though. I've definitely heard it before, and just, you know, what once was beautiful and broken is even more beautiful again. Mm-hmm. And
I got character now.
Yeah, absolutely. Girl, you had character before that. You just didn't know it. You were hiding that. that was hidden behind the husband, you know, and then when he was gone.
I was being a well-mannered little white woman.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. Have you found more peace or more petty in your singleness? Like, depending on the situation? Or which one do you enjoy more?
Peace. Definitely peace. I have learned that I like to flirt, and I'm actually good at it. I'm probably a better flirt than I am someone to date. I like
once it starts to get serious, your brakes come on.
Oh no. I'm locking that baby down and I'm doing a U-E and going in the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever decides to pursue this woman, please take
God
your
help
time.
you.
Just be slow. Just be slow and get to know her. Respect her boundaries, because she's got them. She's going to let you know what they are.
Let me fall in love with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. What was your biggest, I'm not too fabulous for this nonsense moment since becoming single?
I'm not too fabulous for this moment. Okay, so, I'm going to tell myself. You're going to get me in so much trouble doing this thing. This past New Year's, it has been many, many, many years since I got kissed for New Year's. So my sister and I went to a local bar to bring in the new year, and I told her she'd recently broken up from a long-term relationship. And I told her, I said, if we have not connected with anybody by the time the clock turns 12, I'm going to find me a single man and I'm going to kiss him.
You're just going to lay one on him.
I am. And let the cards fall where they lay. Well, the clock starts ticking. I climb up on a bar stool up on my knees. And 10 years ago, this would have never been me.
Right.
But I climbed up on a bar stool on my knees and I was counting it down, boy. Well, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there was this gentleman near me. He had chatted it up a little bit, but he was like the professor type.
Oh,
not my type,
Beauty
but
and the Beast.
Cute enough. And he had the long beard and the round glasses, very intellectual. And I grabbed him up under his beard and brought him to me and laid one on him. And he went, and he kissed me back.
Nice.
So we hung out for about 2 hours after that, and he tried his best to get my phone number, but I told him, I was like, I have too many things going on in my life right now, so no. But he still tries to get my phone number from my sister.
That's funny. So he's still trying.
He's still trying.
So that kiss must have been something, girl.
But I've never been that forward, but I was damned and determined that I was not going to let another New Year's go by without me getting a kiss. So.
Have any of you ever touched somebody like that they want to keep hunting you down and figure out what your phone number is? Woo! Girl, that must have been some kind of kiss. Have you ever had an exit out of a situation or a relationship that deserved an applause?
A way out?
Yeah. Have you ever exited out of a situation or a relationship that was like, damn, you go, girl? And we're on the sidelines going, woo!
Have you?
Oh, a couple times.
Do tell.
But, we as married people, we can't talk about that right now.
Oh, I don't want to get her in the hot seat. No. They're supposed to keep me in one.
Yeah. No, one long time ago, I was at a bar, and this was way before my second husband. Yes, way before my second husband. I was with my brother at a bar. Maybe it was the first husband. It was way before my first husband, before I even had kids. We were at a bar, and I'm just not friendly at bars. I just don't want to be messed with.
Why do you go?
Because usually I'm there with people that want to be there, and I'm, going out and having fun with my friends, and I have no interest in chatting it up with anybody. But anyway, so this guy kept bothering me, and I think my sister-in-law was there. I don't think they were married yet, but I think it was my brother's girlfriend at the time, now wife. I can't remember that's who. Anyway, it's been so long ago, I can't remember exactly who was with me, but I was sitting there at the bar, long story short, and I was like, you watch, I'm going to get rid of him. I started picking my nose. He was gone. I couldn't get him to leave me for any other way. I was just like, so, man, my nose is itching, and I just, yeah.
That's so bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was terrible of me, but I was such a shit then. I don't know that that's something I would do now at this age, but I definitely at that age I was even more of an ass than I am these days.
See, you hide it behind them.
Seen my
And
spicy
sweet
side.
little eyes and
Yeah.
blonde hair. You hide this shit.
Little pettiness comes out every once in a while. The spiciness. What advice would you give to a woman freshly divorced at 50 who feels like her life just got dumped like yesterday's photo? No, yesterday's potato salad.
I actually am still a part of a group. I joined during my divorce on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a beautiful friend. Her name is Karina. And I still give her advice from time to time. You know, I got on the group for support because I was looking for it anywhere and everywhere. My entire support system dissolved.
Yes.
And I was reading about these women, or these women were posting about not getting up out of the bed for 3 days, you know, haven't taken a bath in 4 days. The kids are with him and his new woman, and just really, really sad. And it was not doing what I needed. I needed to be lifted. So what do? Me and my opinionated self, I get on there and I'm like, get your ass up.
Yes.
Take a bath.
Yes.
Put your makeup on and take the damn selfie.
Yeah.
And that's what I, started calling that, was the damn selfie.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you just take 3 or 4 pictures that make you feel cute,
Yeah.
put it on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Let the compliments come in and be grateful for them. Don't say, oh, well, this, and oh, well, no, oh, well, hell. Just say thank you. Let them build you up until you're able to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do feel ugly and fat and useless and dumb and crazy and all the
things.
negative emotions
Yeah.
when you go through any type of relationship ending.
Mm-hmm.
You tear yourself apart. Why wasn't I good enough? No, it wasn't you. It wasn't him. It was just that it was time for the relationship to end.
It's time for it.
And mature people can let it end civil, and immature people can't.
Cannot. That's right. But you bring up an interesting topic there. I used to do selfies all the time that would make me feel good.
Yeah.
And then when I met my husband, I would send him pictures. And he never really appreciated that. And so I quit sending him pictures because he would never save them. He has a picture of me from like 2018 on his
Let's
phone.
get together and do some boudoir pictures. I bet he'd save them.
But I'm constantly griping at him like, that's not me. I don't look like that anymore. He says, yes you do. No, I don't.
But to him, you might.
So that picture's not me. Put one of me that looks like me now, because that makes me feel like you don't love the me now, you love the me then. And that's just my female brain working the way it does. But
That's you critiquing yourself.
yeah, and he doesn't. Of course, I've aged a lot. My face is wrinkled more, and I've got the hog jaws, and the things that have happened, from that point to this point. And I don't look the same. I do, but I don't. Because I've aged, and I want him to tell me that he loves me as I am now. And when he doesn't want to change that picture, I don't feel that.
Barbara,
I know.
the man who walked up to you the other day when I was leaving, he got off the lawnmower,
Mm-hmm.
came up to you, put his arm around you, and kissed you.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, when I was 12, 13 years old, living in Georgia, I had to come back to North Carolina to help my step-grandparents out, who were up in age. And they were hoarders in every sense of the word. And I was in their back room trying to clean it out, and I come across this picture, and it was just breathtaking.
Oh, was it of them?
Absolutely no.
Oh.
It was of a woman, and I took it. It was so beautiful that I took it into the living room, which it was an old house. So I had to jump through this, that, and the other because they were hoarders to get in there. And I said, Mama, I said, who is this? And she said, well, who do you think it is? And I was like, a movie star? Like, for real?
Yeah.
Beautiful crystal blue eyes, cute little heart lips, you know, just hair done up, every hair in place. And she said, that's your mama, which was my stepmom.
Yeah.
And my stepmom died a very obese woman. And when I met her, she was thick, but through her own
choices,
hell that she was put through by my father, she let herself go. Good woman, and I give her a lot of credit for who I am today. But she didn't favor that lady that I saw in that picture. But I was like, wow. To have that picture of this little powerhouse of a woman, because she wasn't but like 5'1", you know. And now that I look back at my wedding picture, or my bridal portrait, which I couldn't afford to get the year we got married, so I had it done the year after as a wedding present to him. But of course, when I left, I took it with me because he didn't want it.
He didn't care.
But I look at it and I think, should I hang that up? Yeah. Because that was me in my youth, in my innocence, and when
you were beautiful.
My edges.
A different type of beautiful.
I was beautiful and too stupid to realize it. I was cut. I was tight. But my edges wasn't as sharp as they are now. Now you try and get that close to me and you're going to get cut.
You're going to get cut.
But I celebrate that picture of me. So I'm telling you, the picture that he has, maybe he's celebrating that of you, because that's who you were when he fell in love with you. And the love that he has for you now is on a much, much deeper level than the superficial love he had then. But we are visual creatures.
Yes.
So he's not choosing that or not loving you for who you are. I just don't believe that. So maybe that's an insecurity you may have.
Could be. Maybe.
And it's okay to be insecure. But see, I'm going to give it back to her the way she gives it to me.
Take the damn selfie, people.
Take the damn selfie and post it. Yes. And when someone,
even if you're married, take it.
Even if it's at the grocery store and you've ran in your Winnie the Pooh pajamas or your Christmas pajamas in June, don't do that. But if you do and someone says, wow, you look great, don't say, oh, Lord. Just say thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this.
And then think to yourself, damn, I look good like this. You should see me dressed up.
See me when I got myself together. Let me ask you this. During your divorce, when it all first started happening, you know, we've discussed how people have left, friends have left. Did you have any of them that you thought were friends, but really they just turned out to be spectators sitting there with snacks waiting to see what happens? They were really just...
Every one of them. Every single one of them. And I will say that on the opposite side of that coin, I had this one person call me on the weekly basis. We were not friends. We were never friends. And the first night that I had to drop my daughter off with him at his girlfriend's house, I sucked it up as she walked up on the porch with her suitcase, and they were standing there arm in arm, and I smiled and, walked away. The minute I got out of sight, I just lost it. I drove home in a daze and walked in the house and just fell on the bed and knew I was going to be there for the rest of the weekend. And she calls me out of the blue, and she's like, hey, you want to go get Mexican? And I was like, no. Yes. I was talking to the group that I just mentioned I was part of, and I'm like, I'm never going to get to a better place laying here. So I got up, and of course, girl, my hair was done, my makeup was done, because, he
looked like $1 million.
Exactly. He needed to remember what he lost.
Yes.
So, it wasn't no preparation to get dressed and go, and wound up having a good time. That was that was one of the surprise things through my divorce. And then the woman that I mentioned the other day about climbing over the boardroom table, she was there for me. And then I had met another friend who's going to be on the show later, about 6 weeks before he left. And she and I became the best of friends and are still best of friends to this day. So that was my entire support system. And the friendship with Leah was a developing friendship. The friendship with Jana, which is the boardroom friend, like I said, she would pick up the phone at 2:30 in the morning and talk to me for 2 or 3 hours. The other lady that called me, her name is Michelle. She was a blessing. She really was.
That's nice. I had one friend, I would say. I didn't have any really when I went through my first divorce, but my second divorce, I developed a friendship with Michaela was into cheerleading, and so she was one of the cheerleading coaches, and somehow we just kind of hit off a relationship. And I also had another friend that I had met through Zai's school. They got invited to the birthday party, that kind of thing, because I was just a wee little man. I was like 5. So, met the mom at the birthday party and that kind of thing. And we're still friends. I'm actually selling her townhouse right now. So we've been friends through all these years. Our sons were best friends for the longest time, until, I don't know, probably 6th grade, 5th or 6th grade, something like that. And they kind of just went their way and we kind of went our way, and it was just, things come and go and friendships come and go. Her and I are still friends, obviously. We don't talk out and hang like we used to, but I do appreciate those women that have been in my life on a routine basis.
I need to mention another friend of mine, Dana.
She's a spitfire.
I
love her.
Have I mentioned her on the show?
I don't think so.
Dana was my friend. She's badass. I would go to a local place to eat, and I had enough money to get one drink, but for some reason or another, my drink never got empty. And she would always drive me back to her place, and she was a rock for me. So, and none of these people were a part of my everyday. But when I finally reached out to one of them, they were always there. So,
yeah. And that's irreplaceable.
Absolutely.
To have those people in your life.
And that's what we want to be to you guys, is that, if you need somebody who is going to be there completely non-judging, we're it.
Yes, absolutely. This is a safe space. I want this to be a safe space that we can say and feel what we want at our age, because so many people think we need to be stifled. And
as long as you're being nice.
Yeah.
Come here with some ugliness.
No hate mail. And that just kind of goes into my next thing is, how do you keep your confidence strong when the society thinks that women at 40 turn into pumpkins at night, when, most of the time we just feel like the whole damn carriage. But, how do we keep our confidence at our age?
The selfie thing, I guess, would apply there, but, I've gotten my real estate license, I've gotten my insurance license, and just looking around at the things that I am responsible for and accomplish on my own, that gives me my little boost. And that's not to say that I don't have a day or two to where I just wear the same pajamas and I'll take a bath and put the same pajamas back on and feel sorry for myself from time to time. That's human. But I've written my book, and I'm determined I'm going to get that published sooner than later. I'm an ordained minister, and I do things.
I wish I knew that when Tommy and I were getting married. But his guy from work, Mark, came, and his wife came. They're beautiful people. You could just feel the holiness in them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm not holy.
No, I'm just saying in them. You could feel in them. You could feel their trueness, their love of life and their love of God, and they still have fun, and they're still funny, and they can cut up with you. They've offered for us to go on vacations with them. They're just genuinely just beautiful people. And he told Tommy he knew not long after he met me that I was going to be the one. They didn't think Tommy would ever settle down again. And then he said Tommy came in and he was just all Twitter painted.
Oh, well, I mean, that's what they call it, ordained minister. I'm old school in my beliefs. I'm very spiritual, more than traditional church. I don't believe you have to go to a building that man has built and put a cross on in order to worship.
Right, yeah.
So I cuss. I occasionally drink. But you know what? Yeah, I have...
Why are we shy about saying that kind of stuff, though?
I'm not perfect, and guess what? Neither are you.
Yeah, no. None of us are perfect. I'm definitely not perfect.
And I don't try and lead a congregation. I'll just marry you if you need me to. Because a lot of preachers these days, and okay, I'm going to get on my little post here. A lot of preachers these days will not marry you because you've been divorced or because you have children out of wedlock or whatever. Judge not unless they be judged, So stop your judging. If you marry this person, marry that person, and just stop it. Know your place and stay within the lines.
Right. I agree.
So, and I actually got my ordained ministry because a girlfriend of mine was engaged, and she kept putting it off, and so I went ahead and became ordained.
Sounds
so that
familiar.
when she was ready, she didn't have another excuse. She didn't have a preacher.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's great that you did that, though. I think I remember you posted pictures about that. Just one last thing before we cut this session off. I want to know, if you could write a letter to your 30-year-old self, what would you tell her right now? Besides, stop crying and take the damn selfie.
My 30-year-old self. So I got pregnant with my daughter on my 30th birthday. And there was a lot of shit going on. I would have said, your marriage is over, end it now.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to breathe life into something that's dying. And you've got this. This too shall pass.
At 30 years old, do you think you would have been receptive to that?
No, because I fought anything and everyone to save my marriage.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do, because my great-grandma always used to say, oh gosh, how does that go? I've stopped saying it since my divorce. It's easy to say you love somebody when times are good, but you prove it when they're the hardest.
Yes.
And that went through my head for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept fighting. And
If I can say anything about the both of us, we're both fighters.
yeah, I kept fighting to make it
Fight
survive.
too long.
Yeah, and I deserve better, he deserved better, and our kids deserve better.
Yes.
Sometimes you just got to accept defeat and prepare for the next battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. If I had to write the letter to myself at 30, I knew then that it was over. Michaela was just a couple years old. He was in the military, spent a lot of time away. So me being by myself constantly breathed life into the relationship longer than it probably would have had he been home all the time.
Right.
Because when he was home all the time, it took 2 years for our relationship to completely fall apart at that point. And, we are now where we are. He's remarried, I'm remarried, and you know, we're all one big happy family now.
That was a brave mother.
Yeah. So
I can't even date, much less consider marriage.
Yeah. She might change her mind one day. She might not. Some women don't. Some women just get in a relationship for the rest of their life, and that's fine too. That's good. I just had a problem. I guess just being raised Catholic, which I'm not trying to put it off on that, but it just living with somebody made me feel so uncomfortable about myself.
Well, see, I haven't tried that since the divorce.
Yeah.
I haven't lived with anybody. So.
I knew. I could feel it. It was just, I felt icky. I felt embarrassed, and I felt mousy and small. And people think that I'm just living off of him. I mean, they literally did. They thought I didn't work and that I was living off of Tommy. And what?
Girl.
Hated that feeling. Because I'm a very independent woman. And that did not make me feel well at all.
My ex, I had my own place at 18. And my ex moved in with me. And that didn't last long. So he wanted to get a place of our own. So it wasn't all mine. And we lived together for about 2 years before we got married. And I was the girl from the backside of the tracks.
Oh, wrong side.
Yeah. And his family is a good Christian family. And I was scared to death every month, counting the hours down to my next period.
Yeah.
Because I did not want to be... I was already that girl. But I didn't want to be the girl who got pregnant to trap him. Mm-hmm. So I get that. Whole living thing, and I hadn't even thought about it, but I haven't lived with anyone, and that's simply because I'm not getting rid of my shit, and there's no room for your shit. So
well, he didn't have any shit, so he's got all my shit. And my youngest daughter happened to be moving out on her own at that time, so she got 3/4 of my stuff, so she didn't have to get nothing when she moved out. She had it all. But thank you for coming this time, and stay tuned. We're going to have part 2. Thank you. That's a wrap on this episode of Back Porch Confessions, where the tea is hot, the stories are real, and we never apologize for keeping it honest. Produced and edited by the magic makers over at Zay Media. Until next time, keep your porch talk spicy and your secrets safe. Mostly.